Welcome to the final project presentation for the Southern New Hampshire University course IDS 403. This is submitted by Daniel Bentley and is titled Constraining Banking Services. Introduction. Social groups in some way direct nearly every aspect of technology. Technology also plays an important role in mediating human relationships. An individual's behavior is influenced by four forms of regulation: laws, norms, markets, and architecture, or in this case, technology. The bank has a desired future digital target state. To get to the target state, the bank requires an industry-leading digital platform and a plan to get customers to migrate to those digital platforms. This involves constraining non-digital banking services. This presentation will review influences including social practices, technology, and non-mechanical technology. It will then review the issue of constraining bank services and the solution, plan, and benefits. Social practices. Social practices have shaped technology and has begun to shape society practices in almost every method of interaction. Each successful digital service advances, builds, and grows not only its specific target, but also horizontal and vertical linkage of technology and society. Kevin Kelly, in a discussion of the next 5,000 days of the web, he states that if he had told us 10 years ago that we would have the current state of web connectivity, technology, social construction, and interaction that we do today, we would have just called him a utopian dreamer. He said that one of the things that we're learning from this era is that we have to get good at believing in the impossible because we are unprepared for it. Does technology determine human action, or does human action shape technology? As discussed in Technology and Society, Building Our Socio-Technical Future by Trevor Pinch and Wibby Bike, while technology determinism suggests the structure and design of the technology itself can dictate the behavior of its users, technological constructivists would say that it is the users that shape the technologies. One can't fully understand how a society uses a technology without actually realizing that technology's social context. Societal change has become influenced by the reluctance of the users to trust more centralized structures and hierarchies, privacy and proprietary information being the most significant drivers. Technology proliferation. Technology has influenced the behaviors and operations of banking services by reducing costs and becoming more horizontally accepted by all banking platforms, merchants, and consumers. 5 years ago, 65% of deposits occurred in a banking center. Now, only 34% are completed in the banking center, 52% are done by an ATM, and 14% are done via mobile banking. 5 years ago, there were 24 million mobile logins per month. Now there are 200 million, many of which that are now virtually requiring no physical instruments like credit cards or checks. There are now 18.4 million active mobile users, where there were only 6.3 million 5 years ago. 5 years ago, there were no mobile sales capabilities, where now mobile accounts are responsible for 20% of digital sales. It's obvious to see that the trend to digital banking services is on the increase. Technology has influenced the behaviors and operations of banking services by reducing costs and becoming more horizontally accepted by all banking platforms, merchants, and consumers. Non-mechanical technology. Non-mechanical technology has shaped our interactions. The non-mechanical technology that impacts banks, consumers, and investors are regulations, especially those instituted post-2007. In speaking of the best prison design, the Panopticon, Michael Foucault stated, that the inmate must never know whether he's being looked at any one moment, but he must be sure that he may always be so. This is the same principle that regulators wish to convey to the banks. In the design, visibility is the trap, and it creates a sense of permanent visibility that ensures that power should be visible, yet unverifiable. Non-mechanical regulations and fines. The current goals of the financial industry and government regulators is to prevent, through regulation, the negative economic catastrophe that occurred post-2007. The lack of these protections nearly crippled the country and led to a massive impact of housing foreclosures and bank bailouts. The regulatory protections put in place, similar to what Daniel Suarez pointed out concerning autonomous robots in The Kill Decision Shouldn't Belong to a Robot, the ways humans resolve, in this case risk, shapes our social landscape. The new regulations post-2007 created a non-technology impact instituted by the regulatory agencies called fines. The government agency fined financial institutions for their operational behaviors concerning mortgages. This totaled approximately $174 billion by 2010. Positive and negative aspects associated with regulations. The positive impacts were increased required internal controls. These are costly to the banks to produce, but improves controls over fraud. This non-mechanical technology also contributed to higher consumer and investor confidence and an increase in investments. The ideal behavior that regulations are trying to produce is to ensure a safer financial environment. There are many agencies involved in dictating new regulations. The big three are the OCC, SEC, and CFPB. Their governance forced new rules and strengthened existing controls at financial institutions. These combined to revolutionize a greater risk-averse culture and new risk appetite. A negative impact is the increased labor and processes required by the banks to support new regulations. In the case of National Bank, this was a 10 times increase in risk-related activities, people resources, and costs. Use of technology has impacts on societal issues. The use of instinctual assessments is beginning to be impacted by knowledge databases. There is currently no control over the ecosystem of data and technology that influences our decisions, foundations, and information on the internet. As technology is built on top of these information sources, what accountability mechanisms will be available to ensure that we base decisions on facts? What will society use to place extra checks on decision makers? Will we trust each other or instead trust what data might tell us about each other?